Hey, hope you are having a great day. Welcome to the latest episode of Cooped Up Live, should I say. Just a daily-ish broadcast where I talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. While we are waiting on folks to join, coopedup.com is my website. You can check that out at any time. See what I'm up to. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in all the social places. Would love a follow, particularly if you're on the Instagrams. And wherever you watch or listen to this, it is broadcast live on Facebook, both on my personal profile and my Cooped Up page, which you should follow, as well as YouTube Live, and then rebroadcast in audio format. Most episodes are rebroadcast in audio format, so that people can listen in the car or while they're walking or whatever after the fact. So be sure to click the bell, subscribe button, whatever it is. Let's get rolling. Hey, Mama, how you doing today? Sorry, I just threw a pistachio in my mouth. I am like addicted to these roasted and salted pistachios, like already shelled. I eat them by the fistful, and they make chili covered ones also, which are so good. Oh my goodness! Although a serving size is about a quarter cup, I don't know about that. I'm probably just it fills the saltiness for me. So, anyway, so we had a very busy weekend, like crazy busy, and I will tell you, probably the highlight of the weekend for me was that I competed in my very first pickleball tournament. We'll get to how we did in a moment. But so it was called Dink for Pink, and it benefited the Mammogram Poster Girls, which is a Oak Cliff-based charity that provides free mammograms to folks who can't afford them or need them. And it was really, really busy. There was like 50 teams playing. We were in 3 different groups. It was advanced, intermediate, and social. I was in the social group. We called it beginner, but they called it social. But yes, and my friend Shelby, who I learned how to play pickleball with, was my partner at playing it. She called it the sporting event of her life, or the athletic achievement of her life. That's what she called it. She's not super sportsy, nor am I. But I will say we played. You were guaranteed to play at least 4 matches. We played exactly 4 matches. We won. So I'll tell you how it went. So we did the first one, and we got pickled, which means 11-0. 0 was us. So we scored no points the very first match, and we were like, "Fuck, what's going on?" I think that team should have been an intermediate, though. Like, it was a little hardcore. And it was at this place called Chicken and Pickle, by the way. If you have one near you, they are insane. Like, so cool. Todd was even like over the moon about it. He's like, oh my God, even though this is super suburban, it is really neat. They've just done a really good job with finishing it out, making there be like a million things for everybody, all that kind of stuff. And so the first match, Shelby and I did not score a single point. It's called getting pickled when you lose 11-0. Because you have to get 11 points to win. And you have to win by at least 2 points. So the highest possible scores for someone to win and stay at 11 is 11-9. And if it's like 10, they have to go up to 12, that sort of thing. I think volleyball is very similar to that, if I'm not mistaken. But so then the second match, we're waiting on our second match, and Shelby says, I hope that we get to play against some old ladies this time, like old ladies. So she's like manifesting this. And I'm like, I don't know. Some old ladies are really, really good at this game. And then we have to say we lost to some old ladies too. So they called our team. Sure enough, it was some old, sweet, sweet, kind old ladies that we played against. And we won. I think we won 11-4 on that one. So that was a nice feeling that it is possible to win. As we're finishing up that round or match, or I actually don't even know the terminology yet. As we're finishing that up, when we're at about 8 points and they're still at like 3 points or something like that. Shelby's like, try not to look excited, keep it cool. Like, she was like, let's not jinx it. Aaron, you are right. Old ladies got nothing to do but practice while you were a guest. Some of these people have coaches. Some of these people play every fucking day. Like, I'm like, how do you play every day? Jackie Carlson, who is an avid watcher, longtime fan of Cooped Up, she was there. she and her husband Callie were in the intermediate group, and I think they won 3 out of 4 matches. But I'll tell you, we were watching because they had all of their matches before we had ours. We were watching theirs, and the first one, it was like, holy moly, this is hard. That's the one they lost, and they won everyone after that. But the first one was like, these people I think had registered down a category also. Fixing that cockadoo here I got going on. Anyway, so we beat the old ladies, although at first, the very first serve, we were like, where did that come from? It was like, whack, really fast. Because the key in pickleball, if you're really good at it, you serve low and you get it to just barely skim the net and you get it to go low and it bounces low also, which if you're playing a tall person like me it's an advantage for you because I can't get that low as easily. I'm better at the, like, once you get up to the net kind of game, like right at the edge of the kitchen and you just start whopping it. Yeah, that's me because I've got the wingspan for that. Anyway, and then the third game, we played this sweet little straight couple, and they were young, maybe in their upper 20s, if even that. And at first, I thought we were going to do better than we did. They ended up beating us. I think it was like 4-11, though. So it wasn't like they creamed us. At least we didn't get pickled again. And then the last one we played was, and by the way, these last 3 were like back to back to back. The first one, we waited forever. This thing started at 10. I don't think we got onto a court until 11:30. And then the first one, and then we had a break. And then after that, it was like back to back to back. So by the fourth one, we are so tired. And we played that one and we won that, or we lost that one 11-7, 11-5, something like that. And we were stuck 8-4 for so much of the game that we were all just getting so tired. And they were in the beginner category. One of the guys was definitely not a beginner, but the other one had only played like twice. So that's why they got to play in the beginner category. And the guy who's played a lot, he kept putting the spin on it. And so the ball would land, and instead of it bouncing the way you think it's going to bounce, it would, and then it would go the other direction. So he was really good at that. But Todd said the sweetest thing on the way home from it. So we get back in the car, we're driving away, and Todd says, well, I thought that was going to be a lot worse. And it sounded sweeter than I'm saying it right now. And he goes, and don't take offense at this, but I thought you were going to play much worse than you did. You're actually a very good player. You just need more practice to be consistent at it. Because he was like, when you shine, you shine. Like, I made some really great shots. He happened to catch one of them on video, and it was shocking. We tried to be good sports, even in losing. I think we were good sports because it was all for fun. But Todd's like, he's a little pickleball curious. Yes, he's a little ball curious. So he's wanting to play. Carrie showed up and to cheer us on also. And she's now like, hey, if you got some extra paddles, which I do, come play. So here's the funny thing about pickleball. I don't know how much y'all know about it, but feel free to comment away, by the way. And if you don't see other people commenting, they may be watching on one of the other channels, but I try to put them on the screen as I see them. But here's the thing. So I bought a pickleball paddle set so that it would look cute. I bought it solely for the looks. And so the set that I got came with 4 paddles, a bag, a bunch of pickleballs, and something else. I can't remember what else, like a headband or something was in it. All of this thing, all in, was like $115, $120, right? Well, Jackie, for example, she is there. Her paddle, she confided in us, she just told us, because I'm not releasing any secrets here. She told us her paddle cost $300. So my whole set with 4 paddles, balls, the bag, all of this cost less than half of what her paddle cost. And hers is very normal for people. Like, it's like a performance paddle. It's got like a special wind channel in it. It's a little bit longer. You can just really get to going. And I think Jackie plays every day as well. But now people are interested. And I'll say Chicken and Pickle was cute. The service was terrible, but the food was good. And it was just a fun environment. They just do so well with them. $300 paddle. That's some serious pickleball. That's literally what they go for. If you buy like a pickleball grade paddle, like not as a starter set or whatever. I know it's crazy, right, Kelly? But the like even if you go like to Dick's Sporting Goods or even just on Amazon, they're expensive unless you were just buying a little cheap. So anyway, so that was that. That was yesterday. My gluteus are maximally telling me that they are in pain today. That I maximally worked out yesterday, especially my left one because I'm like I lead with my right foot and you're forehanding with my right hand, so you're putting a lot of your weight on your left butt, I guess, as you're doing that, your left side. So that's particularly sore. And then so we got home yesterday. I sat on the sofa, just totally fell asleep for like an hour. And then got up, had to take a shower because I had to just turn around. We got home at like 2 and I needed to be back. I slept, ate something, made myself a grilled cheese sandwich because I actually didn't get very much to eat at Chicken and Pickle. They all did, but I didn't want to fill up. And then Carrie and I went to see David Sedaris last night. If you don't know who David Sedaris is, first of all, climb out from under a rock. Secondly, he is an American humorist, and he's written these great books. They're hilarious, and he was doing some readings from essays that he had just recently written. He's kind of like, so he's on this tour, this national tour right now, and so he's testing out new material. So he read a little bit from some older stuff, but almost everything he read and talked about was stuff that only people who've gone to these shows has heard. And it was so funny. The first one he was talking about was the reason why the world is the way it is that we don't hit our kids enough anymore. And it was humorous the way he was saying it. He told us that he did it in like Greenwich, Connecticut, and they booed him. Here in Dallas, they were like, yeah, yes. And he was like, yes, the Southerners love the whole message of beating your kids. He actually didn't say beat your kids. He said slap. Because he was like, they used to slap him. And he is one of like 5 or 6 kids also. And he's like, people just need to have more kids. Because I don't know if this is true, but this is what he said. He said the average American family is now 1.8 children. And he's like, you just got too much time for your kids if you've only got 1.8 children. He's like, we need to just not let 4 people have a baby and then make sure one of them has 5 so that they equally neglect their kids so they grow up to be normal human beings. So Hannah's saying it was bummed to miss this. He was one of my favorites. He was so good. So not to rub it in, but he was so good. Mom is asking, when does your new paddle ball arrive? Or paddle arrive? I know. Take a guess. Actually, I haven't picked it out yet. But there is a store near me named DLM, which I've talked about before, that the lady who owns it is a clothing store, but the lady who owns it is so into paddleball also that she has added a paddleball section to the store. Like, it is this contagious. Like, it is, if you do not want to catch paddleball fever, do not expose yourself to it at all. And certainly don't watch it on TikTok or YouTube because it is fascinating how fast-paced it is, but not like, at first it's like, dink, 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 dink. Like, it's crazy. So, Eric's going from a phone call to an in-person meeting. Oh, sorry, you can't be here, man. We'll catch up later. So that was the highlight. And then David Sedaris was also the highlight of the weekend. Just so funny. And interesting thing, though, there was a lot of controversy with the David Sedaris thing, not because of anything he said, but because when the DMA, the Dallas Museum of Art, first issued the tickets had a 7:30 start time on them. And at some point between buying the tickets and last night, the start time changed to 7 o'clock. Well, most people caught it. Most of the audience was there when it started. I don't know if they got there early or what, but most of the audience was there. But there was a significant number of people who had to walk in late, especially people like we were in the 3rd row. We were in row C. And so I could only see the people in front of us that were coming, and it was enough to be disturbing. And it was enough so that David Sedaris even said something about it afterwards in like the question and answer. He was like, do people in Dallas, because he's done this show like 15 times in Dallas. He was like, I've never had a show where so many people walk in late, especially in the high money seats, talking about the people in the very front. And because we were in the third row of the main seats, there was like 3 or 4 rows then in front of that and kind of the orchestra pit at the we were at SMU's McFarland Auditorium. But and people were like, the ticket said the wrong time, and other people were like, they did. So it kind of became a thing everyone like took up for the people who came in late. But it was shocking how many people came in late. I'd have been PO'd had I missed 30 minutes of the fucking show. Well, I mean, I guess they really only missed. He started at like 7:10, 7:05, something like that. And they were rolling in at like 7:20, 7:25 for a 7:30 show. And then I was home by 9:30. So perfect night for it. What else? I'll get to the school auction shortly. I know we talked about that. Another highlight, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word for it. I guess highlights can be like things too, right? So my MRI results from Prenuvo came in while I was in the car with Claire. We were running an errand and we had stopped, and I pulled out my phone and I had gotten a text saying, your MRI results are here. And of course my stomach just drops into my gut or into my feet. And I'm like, Claire, my MRI results are here. She was like, oh my God, are you nervous? I was like, not really, because I mean, I was trying to play it cool. I wasn't super nervous. I subscribe to the serenity prayer of, I just try not to worry about things that I have no control over whatsoever. And if I can't change the outcome at this point, like the immediate outcome, then I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to hear it, accept it, process it, and then go. And but I was a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. But she was like, I'm a nervous wreck for you. I'm like, okay. And then I start opening it, and for some reason the internet wasn't working. And she's like, come on, what's it say? What's it say? So I will say the result, so normally they told me I was going to get a call and I had to go in to get the results. I did not have to go in. I'm taking that as a great sign also. So they have it separated by like neurological, which is like your brain and your spine and stuff, digestive, respiratory. I can't think of what the other systems are, but they have it by a system, your body systems. And I think there's 5 of them. And then they rank it within that on if it's I don't know what the top level is because I did not have one, luckily. But then moderate is the next one. And then the one below moderate was like informational, and then below that was like no concern whatsoever or something like that. Almost all of mine were in that last category, the no concern whatsoever. There were 2 that were in yellow, which is kind of like you need to kind of keep an eye on it. And it was the I have a pinch in my spine at my neck that they are not worried about. None of this was worried. Actually, all of it said, this is something to monitor, talk to your doctor about it. But like none of this is like urgent that you need to do it. But I have a little bit of degeneration in my spine, which I think most people do. They said it's very common for people who are pushing 50. So there's that. But I probably just need to go to a chiropractor. I also probably need to stop looking at my phone like this. It's probably the caveman neck that I'm getting. I have a moderately fatty liver, which that was a big old duh. Todd's when he went to the Cooper Clinic, he had a not severely, but something between moderate and severe. So his was worse off than mine. Even though I drink him under the table. I think it's my size and the amount of water I drink a day. And I take the milk thistle every day. I think maybe and who knows, maybe I'm just from heartier liver stock. But so there was, those 2 were in yellow. And then there was a couple of things, like one of my lymph nodes in my throat was a little inflamed, but they said that could be, it wasn't enough to be concerned. It was just kind of keep an eye on it. And they said that it could have been that I just was recovering from like a sinus infection or allergies or something like that. It could just be the lymph node doing what the lymph node's supposed to do. There was that. I have a small lesion on my thyroid, which they did not seem to have any concern about either, but just something to keep an eye on. Basically, that was the one that was like monitor it from year to year to year, just to make sure it doesn't turn into something else. I have a little sack of nothing in my brain. It literally says empty sarcella, or so I don't remember what the word is. A little sack of nothing in my brain, and they said that's also very common. It was funny that you see like an empty spot. I have some white spots in the lining of my brain, but again, those are all age related and nothing to be concerned about. And then it sounds like I got a lot going on, doesn't it? I have bursitis in my shoulders, which I've known that the shoulder kills me. And then it said I have osteoarthritis, which that's no big surprise. I mean, look at that, my hand already. It didn't even do my hands. It did torso, hips, legs, brain, but for some reason they don't do arms. I don't know. They were on it, but they didn't really show much about the arms. But the or maybe they were just kind of sucked into the whole of my torso because they were kind of pinned down on my sides. But but all in all, it was very relieving. It was a good baseline. I'm glad I did it. They try to get you to do it every year. I don't think I'm gonna do it every year, but anyway, so I highly recommend it. I did not get paid to do it. I actually paid $2,200 plus tax to do it, but it was good to do. And then Jody's asking, what about your party on Friday night? I'm getting to that now. It was fun. So I dressed up in the blazer that had the vertical sequin stripes that kind of resembled a flapper dress. I ordered a long strand of pearls that I put a knot in. The party started at 7. We were leaving the house at 7 because it was here real close by. Those arrived at 6:45. So I was like, ugh. So as I ordered them, and they're like, they'll be here by 10 p.m. the next day. And 9 times out of 10, it gets here like in the morning or mid-afternoon. It almost never goes until 10. And at like 6:45, I'm like, where are you? And I look at the app, and it said it was like 5 stops away. So wore that, slicked my hair down. I don't think I will ever do that again because I have brown hair when it's slicked down. I used Mason's like California Looks gel, something that he had. He didn't even use it anymore either. Slicked it down. Todd did the same. Todd just wore a regular old tux. Looked cute. He just wore a tux with a little bow tie. And I ordered him a flask to take with him. And I am glad that we ordered a flask because the bar line was very long at this party. So there was a little nipping going on. What did he put? Applejack in it? I don't know what apple. I didn't drink any of it, but he did. When I was going to the bar, I was ordering 2 glasses of wine and then just pouring one into the other, and then I had a double. But yeah, it was a good time. We did not buy anything, shockingly. I just got so like sucked into talking to people and all of that I didn't really buy anything. But I think that they sold a lot of stuff. It seemed like they did. So it was a good time. And then the other thing that we did this weekend, which I suspect a lot of people did, was finished our taxes. Well, almost. They're not quite finished. They're due tomorrow. They're mostly finished. We do them ourselves because my old CPA was like, hey, as long as you have a good bookkeeper, which I do, you don't need a CPA to do your taxes because he was retiring and he confessed. He was like, CPAs use TurboTax too. We just use the CPA edition of it. And they just take the cleaned up books from the bookkeeper and put the things in the same spots. So, and that's all I do. It literally takes me like 45 minutes max to do my taxes. So, because the bookkeeper's already cleaned up the books. Sometimes the hardest, and the reason it takes 45 minutes, usually it's hunting down a form that I forgot to put in the folder or whatever. I've already started like my 2023 taxes folder because I just throw shit in there as it comes. Like if we donate something, throw a receipt in there. If I pay a tax bill that I know is deductible, I throw it in there like that. And so I've already got one started for that. Kelly paid her taxes on Friday. Yep, TurboTax cost me $119. Yep, totally worth it. Yeah, I think ours, because it's a business edition, is like $169 or something. But again, completely worth it. But here's the thing that I do. I don't know how many of y'all do this who file jointly. So I actively actively try to make sure I get all of my stuff in as soon as possible. Like all my W-9s and 1099s or whatever they're called, 1099s, that's what they're called. Those start coming in like January, and they have to be sent out by the end of January. So I get most of my records done by then. At that point, my bookkeeper already has the book. So I usually get my books back from the bookkeeper in like mid-February. And then I sit down and I just bang it out. I will just do it before telling Todd because I want to see how much my taxes, if I were to do them all by myself, what it would cost or whatever. And so I this year had paid, I think, $45,000 in estimated taxes over the year. And I was set to get back about $10,000 of it before Todd had entered any of his stuff. And every year we get into this argument. This is why I try to rush to get my stuff in first, so at least I have some standing. Is Todd then starts to put his stuff in, and not because he's fucking it up, but because our incomes together opt us out of some of the deductions. We kind of max out certain things, all of that kind of stuff. But suddenly we go from me getting a $10,000 refund to us having to pay another $15,000. Yes, that is what happens in our household. And then there's well, I need you to pay this money, Cooper, that kind of thing. I actually have just in recent years started doing it. I will tell you my little secret. I don't know if Todd watches this, and he probably doesn't even think this is a secret. I intentionally underpay my estimated taxes, knowing full well that I'm going to have to pay it up anyway. And so I just keep it in a savings account at a different. I have a savings account at the American Airlines Credit Union that is so hard to get into. Their technology sucks. Nothing is connected to it. And so I just have by direct deposit, it just sends like 10% of all money that I make into that account, or maybe it's 15. I think it's 10 into that account, set it and forget it. I look at it and then I'm like, okay, there's a big chunk of change there. Let's pay some of it out. And so I do that so then I don't have to worry about actually having saved it up. Monica is saying tax argument every year. Did y'all have one this weekend, Monica? We did not yet. Although there were some terse words because Todd wanted to be working on the taxes last night while I was at David Sedaris, and it's under my account. And so every time you log in, it sends like a what do you call it? A two-factor authentication, 2FA thing, text basically. And he's like, I need you to send me the number when you get the numbers. I'm like, I'm not going to watch my fucking phone when I'm at David Sedaris. And fortunately, you go and there was like no phones allowed. Keep them in your pocket. We do not want any photos, no videos, nothing. And so I texted him as we were walking. I was like, sorry, man, no phones. So I got some words this morning about that. But everything's due tomorrow. It should be fine. So, I'm not a Trump fan, but that tax cut that he passed a bunch of years ago did me really, really well. I'm going to say that. I don't know what the ramifications are of that, but just I'm going to say selfishly, I did not hate it. No tax arguments here. Toasted myself on a job well done. I know. The nicest thing about being single, Aaron, or one of the nice things about being single, is there's no one to have money arguments with, right? Right? Of course, you may have child support issues. I don't know how y'all have that structured, but that would be, although I think, what would you get, right? Caddy, I'm terrible. All righty, well, let me see if I missed any comments, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Nope, don't see anything. Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you were loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. I hope you had a great weekend. I did, and I hope that this is going to be a great week, too. I forgot to tell you about the dead animal under the house. I'll get to that tomorrow. How about that? A little teaser for tomorrow. Getting accosted by the smell of a dead animal under your rent house. Fun. That was maybe not the highlight of my weekend. So, all righty. Well, with that, I'm going to say bye. Did I already say I love you? I think I did. Or maybe I'll do it again. You can't say I love you enough, right? I love you. It's important to know you are loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. Don't should yourself to death. No good comes from should. Just take care of yourself. And I will see you tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I said. Oh, and Debbie, I forgot to talk about you. If you watch this on the repeat, I'll talk about it tomorrow. That was also one of the highlights of my weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.